Hello YouTube, Active Asshole on Roids here with another nuclear-powered rant. That's Active Asshole on Roids, kryptonite for conservatives. I'm off my rocker, on my roids, and on the warpath. So, here we go. Well, I've had a few people over the last few years ask me to do a video on this. And this the content, on this one issue here, I really didn't want to take a side on any of this openly because I thought it would impede my ability to really get my message across to people. But then again, considering how few people actually watch my videos, what can it hurt? I mean, hell, I've never really had that many subscribers, and it's not like, making this video is gonna do you a lot of. It's going to do all kinds of bad things to you. It's going to cause you to lose all your friends on YouTube. It's going to cause you to lose all your friends on Facebook who are going to see the links to everything and yada yada yada. But you know what? Hey, whatever. The issue I want to take a moment to discuss in this video is the whole battle within YouTube, within the atheist YouTube community, if you can even call it a community, between so-called new atheists and so-called intersectionalist feminists. Now, I like to say that I fall somewhere in the middle. I don't like intersectionalist feminists any more than I like, say, MRAs. Okay? And yeah, I know MRAs and new atheists are two different groups. I'm not conflating the two of them. Maybe I shouldn't have said new atheists because, hey, I happen to be one of the so-called new atheist crowd. You know, the kind that actually want to go out there and fight for atheism and actually advocate a secular solution to society's problems. Let me try to adjust this a little bit more. This thing is just, I fucking hate this. There we go. Just when I say I support feminists, well, when I say I support women's rights, and I say that I'm a feminist, I'm an old-fashioned Emma Goldman feminist. I'm not an Anita Sarkeesian feminist. There's more than one class of feminists out there, and those of us who support women's rights, who see themselves as feminists in the old mold of what feminism was at one point, you know, choice feminists, individualist feminists, not to be conflated with the hardcore political correctness, postmodernist crowd of feminism today. I'm sorry, but in the words of George Carlin, the late George Carlin, one of my greatest heroes, political correctness is just fascism with a smile. The right to offend is just as important to freedom of speech as any other part of the freedom of speech, because you need to challenge people's sensibilities. This is why I have no problem being a left-wing cannibal troll when I go out and basically come out swinging. I don't care if my opposition is offended by me. I just don't. So in a way, I'm kind of like atheism is unstoppable, even though there's some things that atheism is unstoppable. Some things that he says that I don't agree with. Hey, I'm somewhere in the middle on these issues. I'm somewhere in the middle, the very freaking middle. I mean, I like some of Thunderfoot's content, but at the same time, I used to like some of Steve Shive's content. I like some of TJ's content, and yes, I know there are a lot of my older friends who don't like TJ for whatever reason. I'm just like, hey, okay, good on you. You know, I like Amazing Atheist. I like some of his content. Okay, I like Creationist Cat, I mean, all these people, they fight like cats and dogs anyway. You know, I'm not choosing a side on this stuff because I think all this crap where we're fighting over identity politics is just I just think it's bullshit. I mean, atheism is not something where you have to be on the left. Even though I am on the left, I'm a democratic socialist. I'm a social democracy advocate. You hit the fucking table. And being growing up in the South and everything, I've seen actual honest to goodness misogyny and shit like that. I've seen that crap firsthand, and I know what it's like growing up around all these evangelicals and other folks that just treat women like a piece of meat. And I just don't like it when the Anita Sarkeesians of the world, the feminist frequency people of the world, the Steve Shives of the world just throw out the whole misogynist card. Every time they get criticized on something. Hey, what about those of us who aren't really who are feminists, who do prescribe to a form of feminism, but whose form of feminism is older than the one you prescribe to? What about us who are OGs? Us who follow uh, something that doesn't have anything to do with political correctness, but still has something to do with women's rights, that still advocates for women's rights? What about us? I'm sorry, but I'm not one of the feminism plus crowd. I'm not one of the atheism plus crowd. I consider myself an atheist in the older sense of the word. I can in the original sense of the word. I consider myself a skeptic in the original sense of the word. I consider myself an advocate for pluralism in the original sense of the word. That is to say, I don't take pluralism so far that it winds up being its own worst enemy, which gets me into a lot of fights with the intersectionalists and the political correctness apologetics crowd. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that yes, U.S. imperialism has caused a lot of the problems we have with the Islamic world today. But at the same time, I will still say yes, Islam has a lot more shit in it than in its holy texts dedicated to the kind of shit we decry in Christianity every day. I think both sides are right on this issue, but here I am in the middle, just saying, hey, well, it is what it is. And when I say I'm a feminist, I say, hey, I'm an old school feminist. I'm not one of this new wave crowd that cries misogyny every time the fucking wind blows. I'm just not. When I say I prescribe to at least some form of feminism, when I think of that particular branch of feminism, of those people, I think of a group of people that really only want to make it about their particular issue, their issue silo voters. They're issue silo people. They have that one issue, feminism, and they think that everything else needs to be subverted to that and co-opted for the goal of making their particular brand of feminism. There really are no different from evangelicals in the South to some degree when they do this shit, because you see, this is Logicide. This is the reason why the term feminazi was fucking developed. And I don't like using that term because, to me, I associate with the American right, because so many of them used it for so damn long. But this, and I don't like using the term social justice warrior to describe these people, because a lot of them don't really give a shit about economic justice outside of the whole wage gap thing. They never talk about anything else except that when it comes to economics. They don't really talk about the fact that we have 25 million children in the U.S. living in poverty or anything. I mean, like I said before, social justice without economic justice is not social justice. This is one of my big beefs with the intersectionalist feminist crowd, is that they really don't give a shit about justice in the greater sense of the word. They just co-opt things. They co-opt things so they can move in. I mean, first it was atheism, then it was then it was the gamer industry. Then it was, then it was gaming. Then it was Black Lives Matter. I mean, they just want to taint things. And I'm saying this as someone who who has who has come out in favor of equality within the workplace between genders. I'm saying this as someone who has who has damn, it's late. Should have planned ahead for this video better. I'm saying this as someone who is pro-choice, who believes that women should have access to birth control at will, who just I believe that I'm saying this as someone who does support paid maternity leave for up to 2 years, like they have in Western Europe. I'm saying this as someone who supports women's rights across the board. But for this particular crowd, that's just not good enough. They take it too far, and they get fucking mad about things that people in most other first world countries just would not bat an eye at. They've become insular in a way, and you really can't. And in a way, this philosophy, this offshoot of feminism that has grown and metastasized into this gangrenous just tumor, has denatured feminism to the point to where women's rights as a cause winds up being dragged through the mud. I'm saying this as someone who grew up in a household where my father was ultimately the quintessential hardcore patriarchal abusive husband who treated his kids and his wife like garbage. All right, I know what fucking hardcore misogyny fucking looks like. So when I see people claiming that there's misogyny somewhere, where based on my experience, I've seen this shit my whole life in some form or another, living in Alabama. And it's just hearing these people go off on their little tirades and just trying to go off into just seeing them go off into their little safe space, blocking comments on their YouTube videos, just seeing them employ block bots like Steve Shives and everything, and just And then on the other end, there are the MRA types that are so closely aligned with all these right-wing libertarian jackasses that just want to just act like a bunch of fucknuts about things, who think that men actually need their rights defended and all that. Just seeing them on the other end be just their own brand of asshole stupidity, just their own form of buttfuckery. Just again, you can tell I did not really prepare well for this video, but I just said to myself, you know what, just make it on a whim, Matt. I mean, if it gets you a lot of hate from people, it does. If it doesn't, whatever. Just that's just my thing. I mean, I've railed against the MRA crowd for a long fucking time back in the day, and then and now I find myself railing against the intersectionalist feminist crowd, and I find myself right here in the middle, thinking to myself, you know what, the intersectionalists, they can't call me a fucking racist when I've been on the Southern Poverty Law Center's mailing list, and I've been a member of my college NAACP chapter, and I was on their political action council and everything. I mean, I was a member of Color for Change, for crying out loud. I mean, you can't really claim that I'm a fucking racist just because I point out the hypocrisy on the issue of urban renewal that we see from people like Steve Jives, where this asshole basically takes TJ to task over his remarks regarding gentrification. and I do put gentrification in quotations because, hey, we on the left, we on the left, we railed and fought for urban renewal in every way we could because we wanted to up their standard of living and create jobs for people in the cities. And the second we do that, the obvious happens where the cost of living goes up and poor people have to move. Usually poor people of color have to move, and then we call it gentrification when it backfires. That's what I find just repugnant about this whole thing is that all of these people on the left who are turning on urban renewal, even though we were for it for years and years, it's like we kept telling ourselves, oh, this would solve all the problems. Everything has good and bad side effects. We should have just planned ahead and made some and advocated for policies that would have lessened the impact of urban renewal that it would have had on inner city communities. But we didn't think about that. But I think it's a very bad stretch to call it gentrification just because it has the impact that it does in some cases where poor people have to move somewhere else. Hey, you're looking at someone who I've been homeless before. I've been without a home. I've been without a job and everything. I know what it's like to be dirt fucking poor and hopeless, okay? I know what it's like to feel like I want to just give the fuck up. And I know what it's like to dig myself out of poverty with my claw, just claw my way out of poverty. That's basically what it was. And when you're poor and you have to eat out of the garbage can, I never want to go back to that. I'm not bashing the fucking poor. You're never going to catch me doing that. But I'll still say that yeah, I will have to defend TJ on his remarks regarding gentrification, regarding urban renewal. I call it urban renewal. I don't call something gentrification just because it has the unintended backlash. Because, hey, we liberals, progressives, socialists, we supported urban renewal for years as the answer to the poverty problems caused by outsourcing, something we should have stood against back in the 90s but instead we really didn't get off our asses and do anything back then because we thought, oh yeah, Bill Clinton's in the White House, woo-de-doo-de-doo. And we didn't think about, we never planned ahead for how bad things were going to get. We did not do anything to stop the enemies. I do mean the adversaries within our own fucking movement who enabled this kind of crap to happen. But, I don't think TJ's a racist. I don't think Amazing Atheist, that the Amazing Atheist is a racist. I don't think he is. But I will say maybe atheism is unstoppable might be racist. I don't know. I'm I subscribe to all the channels except for Steve Shives. I basically wrote that guy's channel off the second he started going into that territory where he started pitching a bitch fit about how, oh, stupid, you can't call someone stupid because that's ableist. You can't. No. You can call someone fucking stupid if you want to. Like I said before. Just the right to offend is important to freedom of speech. All right? You have to challenge people's sensibilities. And just the way he just went back and just whitewashed his entire, and I do mean his entire video series in the past year. I mean, I lost a lot of my respect for Steve Shives because it's like he cut his own dick off. And, just seeing someone just go down the rabbit hole, just lose their hell, I'd say lose their sense of dignity. Just seeing someone lose their mind like that. And hell, I have several mental disorders, but hey, I know something about losing my fucking mind. But that's just what watching his channel go downhill over the past year or two, and seeing him basically whitewash his history and pretend like he never believed any of the stuff he did or said any of the stuff he did. I mean, back when Steve Shives basically knew how not to give a shit about certain things, that was when he was at his best. Back when he used to say the hell with Ron Paul's supporters, that's when the man was at his best. Back when he used to say the hell with MRAs, that's when he was at his best. Back when he used to say the hell with this, the hell with that, just that's when he was at the height of his glory. Back when he was actually willing to actively insult motherfuckers who were stupid as hell. I'm sorry, but calling someone stupid, that's not ableist. All right? I mean, if you're so fucking if you're so, what's the word for it? Overly sensitive to stuff that you can't even that you overreact when someone calls you stupid, you got some very fucking bad. You got more problems than just that other person who just called you a dumbass. You got some real issues upstairs. Because when you put shit out on YouTube, everybody, it's out there for the public to see. All right? If you can't stand the scrutiny of a public venue like YouTube, if you can't stand the scrutiny of things like social media, why the fuck are you even on the internet? All right. Well, I guess that's all I have to say on that shit. So, Active Essel on roids. Peace out, guys.